It's all going to zero against Bitcoin.
It's going up forever, Wally.
You're against Bitcoin, you're against freedom.
Yo, welcome to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. We're your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. Cover breaking news, culture, matic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Opti is telling me about my mic once again. For some reason, he didn't tell me before the show, but we rescued it. Anyways, thanks, Opti. All right, guys, so today we're going to show you this clip. Jack Mallers dropping bombs on national TV, once again, breaking the so-called Bitcoin echo chamber. There's something that Bitcoiners have to remember, right? We're making content for other Bitcoiners. How do we move the envelope? How do we get more people in the fold? How do we get more people realizing the scam that is fiat currencies? Well, we break that echo chamber. The way that you do that is by more Bitcoiners going on the legacy corporate media, more Bitcoiners going on mainstream independent media, mainstream podcasts that have become popular, not because they're Bitcoin content creators, but they just become popular. And then you incept those ideas there. Like when Kaiser goes on Alex Jones, telling them that he gave him 10,000 Bitcoin, how Tim Pool is basically saying the dollar is melting. You know what? I'm okay. I'm going to Bitcoin. That is really how you move the envelope. When the Bitcoin conference invited Vivek, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., when RFK Jr. made that speech in front of the Bitcoin 2022 conference, basically said, if you elect me for president, I'm going to protect your right to self-custody. That is breaking the echo chamber, right? That's how we got to do. That's how we win this thing. So Jack Mallers dropping bombs on legacy media. We have the clip for you guys. And also another thing that we're going to talk about today is the continued creep by governments to try to slow down the alternative system that is being built out, right? So in Europe, more KYC AML rules being imposed. In the US, they kind of walked back this rule that was implemented January 1st, that every $10,000 Bitcoin transaction had to be reported. You had to, essentially, if I sent $10,000 with this rule, they walked it back because I think that they got a lot of pushback. But if I sent $10,000 worth of Bitcoin to anybody, I had to report their name, their address, and their social security number. Like, absolutely crazy. And then another thing that I want to talk about as well is Wallet of Satoshi. That was like the Lightning wallet. It was so easy to use. It was convenient. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Nico, it was custodial." Dude, it was easy to use. It's not like you're going to put thousands of dollars on Wallet of Satoshi, but for everyday payments, it was just download and you're ready to go. They pulled out of the US, but there was this tweet that they came out with that really hit hard. So we're going to cover all of that in today's show. And we also have a very special guest for you guys. It's truly an honor to have him on the show today. We have Ron. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the director of the show, The Rugrats and Wild Thornberries. If you're a 90s kid, you guys know what I'm talking about. And he's a fellow Bitcoiner. So I had the honor of being able to meet him in Los Angeles at Swan Salon. So Ron, welcome to the show. Welcome to Simply Bitcoin.
Thank you, Nico. Yeah, this is great. Can't wait to keep going here.
Thank you for coming on the show. My legendary co-host, he's not smiling today, so
you caught me mid-chat.
He is Nihilus Fields. Nihilus Fields is in the building. How you doing, Nihilus Fields?
No, man. I am doing great. It's Friday, another week in the books, and honestly, like I was telling Ron earlier, like this is surreal and an honor. This is my childhood summed up, and it's just so awesome that he's also a fellow Bitcoiner. And it goes into what we always talk about. You even started the intro on breaking the echo chamber and the culture. Ron has a project to break the echo chamber. So we'll get in there, and then, I'll tee you up and ask you how you became a Bitcoiner, all that good stuff. People love those stories. So I am super excited about this show. I'm going to tell my brother and sister about this show because we all grew up on your works. As Nico was saying, the proof of work. And man, it's truly an honor. This is going to be a great Friday show.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
And ladies and gentlemen, we haven't forgotten, today is Meme Review Fridays. So we have the meme review for you guys today. I know a lot of people have been asking for that. Some fire memes were dropped over the week, and we're gonna cover them today on Meme Review Fridays. Okay, all right, everybody, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the numbers. We got a lot to talk about today. Let's check it out.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Is your seed phrase really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of just writing them on paper. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage. You want to put your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Your words are actually stamped into this metal plate with this hammer and these letter stamps. And once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamped seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin with peace of mind for the long haul. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed. All right, guys, you can scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you directly to the Stamp Seed website. So you get yourself a Stamp Seed titanium seed phrase storage kit, so you don't have to explain to your grandchildren why you lost your generational wealth because you didn't properly secure it. So, and you can use promo code SIMPLY, get 15% off. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $40,605. Everybody, I hope everybody is stacking the dip. We might drop below 40K, and maybe some people are sad, but I'm like, yeah, cheaper Bitcoin. Anyways, sats per dollar.
Wait, you guys still have dry powder? What's going on here?
I know, right?
Sats per dollar, 2,463. Block height, 826,431. Blocks to halving, 13,569. Halving estimate, April 20th, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 4,857. Bitcoin capacity value, $197 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation, 1.74%. The market capitalization of Bitcoin, $795 billion. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 5.78%. In the grand scheme of things, Bitcoin is still a tiny little baby. Here is Jack Mallers on Bloomberg, and he was just dropping bombs after bomb, you know? Anyways, I'm gonna play you guys the clip, and then we'll all talk about it. Let's check it out.
Of course, in the US, Bitcoin has been seen basically as, well, an asset to be able to bet on. Ultimately, whether or not it's a store of value, it's certainly been one that people have been wanting to gain exposure to see it as volatile, to see the gains. But elsewhere in the world, they do use it as a way of also ultimately being able to transact, to use it as some sort of currency. Now, when does that potentially start to seep into the US? Because at the moment, we've seen the validity of it as an asset, as a store of value, but not as a currency here in the United States.
I'm not, to be honest, guys, I'm not sure it totally matters. So for example, I don't own any dollars anymore. I'm sick of them. You know, I think the real risk is owning dollars because all they do is go down. And traditionally, the game was, well, shoot, what do I own? The government's going to keep printing currency. They're in so much debt. Do I try and own a house? Do I try and own an index of stocks? Do I try and find out what Jeff Bezos is up to now that he's not the CEO of Amazon? And Bitcoin is the most accessible, most simple, best expression of this problem that, you know, Ed, how many people in the world have to deal with fiat debasement? Give me a number. What do you think?
You answer that, Jack.
8 billion. All of us. Everybody is subject to a fiat currency that's devaluing, and everyone has access to this thing. And so if you want to use it for payments, if you want to store it, so for example, I live on credit cards. The US banking system gives me a 30-day revolving door of credit where I could spend dollars without needing to own those pieces of trash. And so I just sit in Bitcoin all day. I spend on credit. And so to me, I don't know. Anyway, does that answer your question? I think Jack, it doesn't totally matter.
and then I love how they're trying to reel him in, like Jack. But look, he said a really good point, and I tweeted this out a couple days ago, and I think it resonated with people, which is you shouldn't be forced to invest just to maintain your purchasing power. I've been on Bitcoin standard for a while now. People look at me like a maniac. But look, guys, the reality is that, you know, as much as governments would like you to say that, you know, or like to say that Bitcoin is this volatile asset, if you look at it, if you actually look at the numbers, specifically if you have a low time preference, actually, if you've been saving in Bitcoin, the dollar has gotten 91% cheaper on a 5-year time scale. On a 3-year time scale, it's gotten 10% cheaper. On a 1-year time scale, it's gotten 49% cheaper. So, I mean, I'm on that Mahler's tip, man. Life gets cheaper when you live on a Bitcoin standard, even in real estate. Look, I live in Miami, okay? The prices of real estate have doubled in the last, you know, since they went on that money printing craziness splunge, okay? On a Bitcoin standard, real estate is still cheaper, right? With the real estate prices going as high as they've gone, the average house in the US is still 77% cheaper if you've been living on a Bitcoin standard. And that's what Mahler's was trying to say, right? Like, the world would be a better place if people just migrated to a Bitcoin standard. You'd have it, things would get cheaper, right? Your mindset would start to change. All of a sudden, you don't have to worry about, you know, working harder and harder and harder for money that's being debased. All of a sudden you have hope for a better future because your money isn't melting. It's not a melting ice cube anymore. In fact, not only is it not melting, it's actually increasing in purchasing power over time, which changes your mental operating system to not only have hope for the future, but actually have the ability to plan for the future. So it creates long time preference or low time preference rather than short time preference, which is really what fiat currencies incentivize, right? So look, the news anchors were absolutely losing it. They were trying to reel him in, but he wasn't having it. He was just dropping bomb after bomb. Anyways, I'm going to pass it on to Ron and then Opti.
Yeah, I totally agree with this. It feels like the whole point of fiat is almost like a mild panic you're supposed to be in all the time. You know, they're taking 2% down, you know, every year, no matter what. That's programmed into the inflation rate, right? So, and now they're jacking that up and making it even worse. So it's like the whole point of it is, as soon as you get your money, you better start spending it because it's just going to evaporate, you know? And it drives me. And then the speed of it too is so unbelievably archaic at this point to me. I'm trying to move some money from an IRA account I inherited from my mom. And I sold some stock. I'm trying to move it over so I can grab this dip, you know? And because I hadn't hooked up my checking account previously, it took a week for them to figure out that this is my account, you know, to approve it. And then it's going to take another week to actually move the money over. And they're moving the money from me to me. You know what I mean? To my Schwab account, to my checking account here. And it's like, what are you accomplishing here? You're spending 2 weeks moving money that's mine, and I just want to access this. And if there's a campaign to get the hell out of fiat, I don't know what's a better one than that. You know, it's
100%.
Beyond annoying. It's ridiculous, the whole system.
100%. It's absolutely ridiculous. People are waking up. You know, the central planners are like they're like screaming. They're trying to fight back. You know, they're trying to censor. They're trying to do everything in their power to be able to maintain that privilege of being able to create money for free that everyone else has to work for. And there's actual consequences to this. And, you know, and the consequences are specifically if you're in the lower and middle classes and you don't have the means to save in assets. You know, you save in dollars, you're forced to earn in dollars. You're literally getting poorer when they print money. And even if you're wealthy and you have the means to save in assets, you're forced to become this part-time investor, or you have to outsource it to, you know, one of those wealth management banks and stuff, right? It's like, what if you shouldn't have to be a part-time investor just to maintain your purchasing power. Like, the very idea of that is absolute lunacy. It's crazy. So anyways, Opti,
really.
Yeah, exactly. So, Opti, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, first, just kind of piggybacking off Ron, you know, the powers that be, whether it's bankers or politicians, the legacy system at large, they are the best marketers of Bitcoin. Once you actually get down to the basics of it, you realize, like you said, just how archaic the system is. And once you use Bitcoin, it's so simple. It really is a totally new operating system. But anyways, let's get back to that Jack Mallers, aka Jack Ballers clip. He's the GOAT. I love hearing Jack Mallers talk because not only is he just inspiring with the words he says, but you can just feel the useful exuberance of life coming out of him. It's just like everyone's saying in the chat, you know, Bitcoin is hope. And once you get on the Bitcoin standard, I don't know, your whole point of view on life, it opens up and you realize, oh my God, there's a totally new world out there. And, you know, he even said it in the clip. And I'm reminded of my buddy Sahil, who he's another Bitcoiner. Shouts out to him. He's going super hard on the Get on Zero meme. And, you know, Jack Mallers on Zero, like what a legend. And like he's saying, you know, Bitcoin is the most accessible way to store your value long term. It lets you save and spend your dollars easily. You don't need permission. It's censorship resistant. Like, you don't need to ask permission. As someone said in the chat, if you have to ask permission to send your money, is it really your money? You know, I think these are just simple questions that most people don't ask themselves until they go down the Bitcoin rabbit hole and you realize, oh my God, like the money we are using isn't even our money. If you give your money to a bank, they go invest that money, and then you're lucky if you get that money back. You know, maybe a bank run happens. Who knows what's going on here? But I love the question that he asked, like who needs... how many people are being wrecked by fiat currencies? Well, you know, 7 billion people. Basically, every person on planet Earth is directly affected by the fact that the dollars, or rather your fiat currency of choice in your country, is losing value. Like, fiat currencies are number go down technology. Bitcoin is number go up technology. Hard capped at 21 million. Digital scarcity. Infinity divided by 21 million. It's super simple, guys.
It's going up forever, Laura.
You just need to save and store in Bitcoin. And, you know, you don't have to complicate this. All you need to do is figure out a way to get your currencies of choice into Bitcoin, store it in cold storage, save it for the long term. And I can almost guarantee, again, I don't like to guarantee, but can almost guarantee that the number is going to go up and you will have some wealth that you can hold and transact with on your own will. So I don't know. It's so simple once you get your head around what Bitcoin actually is. Once you unplug from the traditional fiat system, it's like, wow, it's like that, you know, when you look at something and you don't realize what you're looking at, and then you see it and you just can't unsee it. Like, that's, I think, what Bitcoin is. It's like, it's so simple. It really is so simple. It amazes me how complicated people make this out to be.
100%. 100%. Ron,
I agree. I think it's like, I describe it a lot of times as like, you know, Copernicus died because he figured out that the earth revolves around the sun, and he couldn't, you know, or sorry, he didn't publish it until he died, his findings, in realizing that this is actually the way the universe works. And once you see that, once it's revealed, you can argue all you want for the old system and say, no, the sun's revolving around the earth, and show some complicated. But the reality is that's the way it works. And once you understand Bitcoin, for me anyway, you realize how broken and awful and self-serving the central bank, you know, Fed, whatever you want to call this system, is built to sustain itself, at the complete bewilderment of anyone who understands that it shouldn't run like this, and that Bitcoin is like discovering the earth is actually revolving around the sun. And once you see it, there's no going back. It's solved, you know.
100%. 100%. Once you take the orange pill, right, you know, that's a one-way street. I mean, that like, you know, that scene from The Matrix, it's so fitting, right? And Morpheus is like, you know, blue pill, red pill, you know, just replace that red pill with the orange pill. Once you take it, you can't unsee the truth. You can't unsee what's going on, right? So it's our job as Bitcoiners really to wake people up, you know. Anyways, before we move on to the next segment, I do want to give a shout out to one of our newest sponsors, Scott's Build a Mine Bootcamp. Guys, if you want to know how to build a Bitcoin mine from A to Z, Literally scan the QR code on your screen. It will take you directly to his website. You could sign up. It's a free webinar, and he will literally teach you. There's so much free information on the internet, but it's not organized. Scott's Build a Bind Bootcamp will literally show you how to do that from A to Z. All right, everybody, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the news. We have a lot to talk about today. Let's check it out. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Have you ever wanted to get into Bitcoin mining and don't know where to start? That's why I want to introduce you to Scott's Build a Mine Bootcamp. He will show you how to build your own Bitcoin mine, how to get the project funded, how to get your facility filled with miners as quickly as possible. With a little luck, and by putting all his techniques and strategies to work that he's developed mining Bitcoin for the last 6 years, you could be mining 5 million Satoshis per day or 0.05 Bitcoin in less than 3 months. On the free webinar, he will give you a high-level roadmap that will help you get on your way to building, owning, and operating your own Bitcoin mining farm. Begin your mining journey today. Register for the free webinar now. Click the link in the description of the video below or contact Scott directly on Telegram using his handle @OfferedScott and learn how to mine those precious, precious Satoshis.
The Daily News.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation Devices. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US. It's fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a simple feature phone. So you will know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes. Experience the peace of mind that comes with taking ownership of your own keys. After a massive sellout during Bitcoin Miami 2023, the Passport is back in stock at foundationdevices.com. Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, completely air-gapped security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. If you're thinking about getting your Bitcoin off exchanges, this is the one for you. Check out the Passport link in the show notes below to learn more. All right, everybody, we have a lot to talk about today, specifically during the news segment. Guys, again, like the censorship of technology, specifically by the US. I'm going to start off with Wallet of Satoshi, which to me personally, it was a very, very big heartbreak. I'm going to start off with this. This is something that they tweeted not too long ago, specifically here in the US. I think this tweet just, it hits really hard, right? So for our audio listeners, this is Wallet of Satoshi. They're replying to someone why the app wasn't available for some reason. And they said, unfortunately, our app is not listed on app stores in USA, China, and North Korea. Like, Jesus, that is a very, very strong statement. They go on to say, here's more information from No BS Bitcoin. We've made the difficult decision to remove our app from the US Apple and Google app stores. Will not serve US customers going forward, announced Wallet of Satoshi. It goes on to say, for our existing users in the USA, rest assured that you have full access to your Bitcoin funds and you can seamlessly withdraw and transfer them to another wallet. Wallet of Satoshi is a custodial closed source Bitcoin and Lightning wallet service provider based in Australia. The wallet became popular due to its ease of use and frictionless onboarding experience. This decision doesn't come lightly. Our commitment to providing a secure, user-friendly, and compliant, this is a key word, compliant platform globally is unwavering. Our top priority is the safety and interest of our customers or our company. We understand this may be disappointing news, and we share your frustration. We're hopeful that future developments will allow us to revisit and possibly resume our operations in the US. Ladies and gentlemen, this happened a week or the same week that the DOJ press conference happened in regards to Binance. And what was it about that DOJ press conference? Opti was in that Twitter Spaces. I was hosting it for Swan at the time. And when that press conference was over, instead of talking about what was happening with Binance, I literally said, like, I like my voice was like shuddering. Like Opti was texting me like, Nico, catch your breath. But I literally, I came to the conclusion, I'm like, holy cow. They're going to try to ban self-custody in the United States of America. And I told the entire crowd. A week later, Elizabeth Warren announced that she got five more co-sponsors for her bill that would ban self-custody in the United States. It would kill the industry. And then that same week, Wallet of Satoshi pulled out. Why did they pull out? Well, during that DOJ conference in regards to Binance, they mentioned the word terrorism, like not being hyperbolic, at least 15 times. And if you actually look at, and Cynthia Lummis has posted this, right? The vast majority of illicit finance that includes terrorism financing happens using the traditional legacy financial system. Less than 1% uses Bitcoin. But of course, that is the perfect straw man for governments to sabotage useful and competing technologies, right? We're going to use Christine Lagarde's own words. She says they are escape valves, right? Bitcoin is an escape valve from the traditional system, right? So this isn't just happening with Wallet of Satoshi. This also happened tax reporting as well. It looks like they walked this back after massive pushback. But essentially, we reported a couple weeks ago that since January 1st, really, the Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Act, which came into force on January 1st, requires businesses to report crypto transactions worth more than $10,000 as if it were cash. The provision is a matter of a lawsuit brought against the IRS by the crypto lobbying group Coin Center. The law requires taxpayers engaged in trade and or business to file a report including the name, address, and social security number of the person from whom the funds were received, the amount received, the date, and nature of transaction. If you don't file a report within 15 days of receiving the transaction, you can be found guilty of a felony offense. But it seems like, our friends over at Coin Center, they did something good. And here's Jerry Brito, who's part of them. And he goes on to say, glad to see the IRS has belatedly listened to us and recognized the impossibility of complying with 6050I using crypto. But its statement on the matter is baffling. They state that the new crypto reporting obligations in the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, quote, requires the Treasury Department to issue regulations before it goes into effect. There is nothing in the law that says this, and we are unaware of any legal reasoning that would have this be the case. For the time being, it seems like they will not be enforcing the law, which is a practical win, and I'm sure that is welcomed by many confused taxpayers. Still, the IRS has not explained how it's capable of doing this. And let me give you an example, right? So let's say you're a non-for-profit, like WikiLeaks, or just a non-for-profit. Proton Mail, for example, accepts donations. And you get a 20,000 donation. For example, the other day, someone sent 26 Bitcoin to the Genesis address, right? So Satoshi's address, right? If you're getting an anonymous donation, how the hell are you supposed to report who that came from, what the reasoning was, who the name and the address of that person? You have no idea where that comes from. Right? So this is the issue, right? Is that they're trying to fit the existing, structure, which I would say it's a system of control, really, on top of a system that it works completely differently. And this is not only something that you see in this law, this is also something that you see in Elizabeth Warren's law as well, which would be a de facto ban on self-custody Bitcoin. Essentially, it would force node runners, it would force Bitcoin miners to enforce KYC. How do you do that? You don't do that, right? So it would essentially be a de facto ban. So essentially what I think the government is really trying to do here is they're trying to retain control, right? This isn't just happening in the United States. This is also happening in everywhere else, really, specifically in the countries that have very strong fiat currencies and they benefit from that money printer. Here is breaking news came out yesterday. New EU KYC AML rules to impose stricter surveillance measures on users and service providers. It goes on to say the provisional agreement expands a list of obligated entities to new bodies. The new rules will cover most of the crypto sector, forcing all crypto asset service providers to conduct due diligence on their customers. This means that they will have to verify facts and information about their customers as well as report suspicious activity. It goes on to say the agreement also adds measures to mitigate risks in relation to transactions with self-hosted wallets. Ooh, there you go. Once again, self-custody is dangerous, right? That framing is important. Wording is really, really important, right? So they're saying look, measures to mitigate risks in relation to transactions with self-custody. So check out that framing. right? Self-custody somehow has risks built into it, right? And check out the wording, self-hosted wallets, right? It's the abnormal. It's an abnormal, right? It's like the normal is hosted wallet. The abnormal is a self-hosted wallet. Self-hosted is not mentioned in the white paper. That is 100% an invention from the bureaucracy to close the escape valve. They're really scared of it, right? Because self-custody is the revolution. If you have millions upon millions of people holding their wealth, they can't inflate the way they used to, and they can't confiscate like they did back in the 1930s with the 6102 order, right? The reason that they were able to get away with that is because there was a centralization of the custody of gold because of its physical characteristics. Anyways, it goes on to say, while it's not mentioned what these measures will eventually entail, politicians drafting the law have been mentioning a limit of 1,000 euros for payments made from self-hosted wallets. You know how crazy that is? That is absolutely nuts. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an attack on your sovereignty. How are they going to enforce that? Right? Are they going to go after open source developers? Are they going to go after Sparrow Wallet? Are they going to go after, Electrum and they say, listen, you have to write in the code. You can't send more than 1,000 euros worth of Bitcoin if you have your own wallet. This is absolutely absurd. Like, just like this law, they're trying to fit the previous system on top of the new system. And this brings me back to, again, a quote from the Sovereign Individual, which predicted all of this back when it was written in the 1990s. It goes on to say, new technologies will allow the holders of wealth to bypass the national monopolies that have issued and regulated money in the modern period. Their importance for controlling the world's wealth will be transcended by mathematical algorithms that have no physical existence. In the new millennium, cyber money controlled by private markets will supersede fiat money issued by governments. It goes on to say, lacking their accustomed scope to tax and inflate, governments, even in traditionally civil countries, will turn nasty. Businesses that offer services, Wallet of Satoshi, that facilitate the realization of autonomy by individuals will be subject to infiltration, sabotage, and disruption. Arbitrary forfeiture of property, already commonplace in the United States, where it occurs 5,000 times a week, will become even more pervasive. Governments will violate human rights, censor the free flow of information, sabotage useful technologies, and worse. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the separation of money and state. Buckle up. You thought it was going to be easy? You thought they were just going to hand over the keys and say, you know what? We had this awesome privilege, this ability to print money as much as we want. Bitcoin comes along. You know what? We give up, guys. You win. You win. It's okay. It's okay. Here, you guys could take it. No, of course they're going to fight back. I think Bitcoin's incentives are going to rule the day. I think they have no chance because the more they clamp down, what I think you're going to see, and this happens in totalitarian countries. Like, for example, I'm originally from Venezuela. What happened when the country went downhill economically, when the government started to become more tyrannical, you had a brain drain. 6 million people left, right? So what's going to happen when these governments start to clamp down on Bitcoiners? Well, me and Opti make this joke all the time. We're going to try to hold it down in the US, right? I have a special place. I still believe in, maybe I'm brainwashed, but I still believe this is, the land of opportunity. But if not, we're going to change the name of Simply Bitcoin. It's called Simplemente Bitcoin. And we're going to move and relocate to El Salvador. We're going to vote with our feet. And you're going to see more Bitcoiners. We're going to see more Bitcoiners do just that, right? But anyways, guys, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Guys, if you want to benefit from self-custody, the first thing that you need is a hardware wallet. Obviously, we recommend the Passport by Foundation devices. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now. So yes, guys, take self-custody of your Bitcoin. That's how you protect yourself. They can clamp down all they want, but open source software is open source software. Anybody can contribute to it. You can download that with your PC. Maybe they go after the app stores. This is going to be an arms race. Governments are not just going to go gently into that good night. But again, this is the separation of money and state. I think we'll win at the end of the day, but it is going to be a very bumpy ride. Corey wrote an excellent piece called The Race to Avoid the War. And he was making the case that there needs to be an intransigent minority in the United States, 10 million Bitcoiners, so that if the US government wants to pass any type of hostile regulation, they literally can't. And then I'll give you an example of that. I'll give you an example of something similar to that. try passing a gun law on a federal level. It is almost impossible. Why? Because there's so many people that own guns in the US, right? So if there is at least 10% or 7% or 8% of the population that are holding Bitcoin, they self-custody their Bitcoin, good luck trying to pass that. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to do so. So anyways, Ron, I mean, we were just talking about Wallet of Satoshi, man. It's just crazy. That post really hits hard. We're not available in China, North Korea, and the US. Like, what? WTF?
Right. The most totalitarian states you can imagine, right? Let's put the US right in there with them. It's incredible. It's just disappointing that, to me, that people aren't freaking out a lot more like the general populace here, but we're a tiny minority as Bitcoiners still. But yeah, if we can get to the 10 million mark and start, like you said, actually having some influence over this and really have a louder voice, and even voting with our feet, like you're saying. I mean, if they were really to take away self-custody and make it basically impossible to on-ramp and off-ramp your money through, from your own custody, I mean, I think you'd see a lot of people just get the hell out of here. I'd probably be one of them. Yeah. And again, like it, and that's really terrible for governments, because essentially that would be capital flight. That's like, it's not just people leaving, right? You're talking about, in my opinion, in 10 years, Bitcoiners are going to be the wealthiest group of people on the planet. And do you want those people fleeing your country? That's your tax base. And they're saying like, yeah, guys, you can have fun with that. I'm out. Take care. And you're already starting to see this, right? Katie the Russian has, that's her Twitter handle, by the way. She has an entire business called Plan B Passport, where her business helps people find alternative citizenships, right? And again, this was predicted back in the Sovereign Individual. There's been times where I'm looking at it and I'm like, my Venezuelan passport, okay, which is like, guys, it's trash. Like, it can get me into Russia. I think it can get me into Europe, get me into Britain, but it can't get me into North America without a visa, right? And I'm looking at that and I'm like, from a tax perspective, this thing is actually pretty useful now. And this American citizenship, from a tax perspective, this thing kind of, it's starting to suck. Like, this isn't cool. I have to report my income if I live in another country, and I have to report it back to the US. Like, what's going on there, right? And of course, you want to follow the rules. You don't want to be locked in a box. But, I think that as time progresses and governments start to clamp down because they want to hold on to that privilege of being able to inflate the money and print the money, I think more and more people are going to start to question, or at least weigh the pros and cons of, is this American citizenship really worth it for me? Like, is it really worth it for me and my family? Right. So I don't think governments truly understand what they're doing. I think they're playing with fire. And this reminds me of something that Jack Mallers actually said. And we hosted this actually on back when I was at Swan. We hosted this on the Swan YouTube channel. And it was the Bitcoin Policy Institute, and they were hosting a summit in Washington, D.C. And Cynthia Lummis was there, and a lot of other representatives. And Jack Mallers, twice in his speech, the first time he's like, guys, if you don't get your shit together, like in a nice way, of course, like, I'm leaving, right? Like, I'm leaving. And then the second warning was like, you want Bitcoiners paying taxes in Texas. You don't want Bitcoiners paying taxes in Dubai, right? And that was like, a shot across the bow. And then you're already kind of seeing this on a much smaller scale, at least here in the US, where, you had a giant flight from people leaving California, leaving New York, going to Texas and Florida, because it provided a better business environment, right? So I think that was just a small example of what could happen if governments really clamp down and become hostile towards this technology. Anyways, Opti, what's your take on all this?
Yeah, well, first things first, it really does feel like America, or rather Americans or first world citizens are just like frogs in boiling water. Like if you're paying attention, you can see the slow creep of totalitarian authoritarianness, and it's absolutely terrifying. And we're all watching this, especially here at Simply Bitcoin. We're watching this like a slow train wreck, and everyone's wondering like what's going on. But Nico keeps saying that we're leaving. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, I am not leaving America. Maybe this is just my first gen Americanness in me. Like, I love America. I truly believe this is the last bastion of freedom. But when you bring that tweet up by Wallace Satoshi, it really makes you think, home of the brave, land of the free, next to China and North Korea. Like, it's absolutely crazy. And it really goes into that quote and that part of the sovereign individual that we always quote on the show and talk about, that as a declining empire, you start to see that they're trying to clamp down on their citizens and continue to harvest as much tax dollars as they can and make sure that people aren't moving out of the country. And of course, we say it all the time, the only votes that really matter are those with your pocketbook and with your feet. And I just hope that it doesn't come to us having to leave America. I really do believe that we do need Bitcoiners to stand and fight and stand our ground, because we can't just let America fall, because I think other countries around the world are even worse. And if America falls, like, as a whole, as humanity on planet Earth, like, it's going to be a very bad state of affairs. But hey, this is something that we will all be a part of for the next couple of decades. And on that EU and the IRS stuff, like, it's absolutely incredible that they would want us to basically all, as node runners and people that are transacting on network, become like KYC advocates and do the tax man's job. It's like Bitcoin by design, or rather cash by design. You don't have to know who you are actually transacting with. This is why it is cash. This is why there are bearer assets, because just by showing the cash, or digital cash, peer-to-peer digital cash, as we know Bitcoin to be, like, I don't have to know any personal information about the person. Like, do you have to KYC every person when you own a little store, corner store? It's like, no, they give you cash, you pay for your products, you leave. This is why cash is a thing, is because you don't have to know who the people are that you're transacting with. This is the beauty of cash. And it just goes to show that the powers that be are really scrambling for control. They're trying to find any way possible to corral the Bitcoin movement, and rather corral the freedom of transacting in the world. They know that I personally would say that they know that they're playing or in a losing battle, and they're just scrambling for control. And guys, this has always been about control. We say it all the time. It's always about control. And they're trying to put Bitcoin in the fiat square. But Bitcoin fundamentally, I think, will change the way we transact with laws, the way we organize ourselves, and the way that politicians and the lawmakers view the world will fundamentally change, because now they won't have the control of fiat currencies or money over the citizens. And Nico brought that excellent article coming out of the Fed, that they know that they can use money to basically modify human behavior. This is no secret. Bitcoiners have been saying this for a long time. And now that control is dwindling, and they're trying to scramble and basically scare us out of using freedom money. And I really do believe that this is just part of the then they fight you stage. And as Bitcoiners, just not only being aware of what's going on, but understanding the stakes that are actually happening in real time, I think is super important to highlight. And I think Bitcoiners need to just make a stand everywhere globally. But of course, here in America, I love America. I am absolutely disgusted by the politicians in DC. But hey, who am I? I'm just one person that runs a node and transact to people all around the world, and I don't know who they are.
You're a sophisticated, shadowy supercoder.
Literally none of those things.
Yeah, man. So buckle up. This is the separation of money and state. I think things are going to get a little bit more bumpier as time progresses, but it's never been a better time to learn how to take self-custody. Before we move on to the next segment, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors. First up, Bitcoin evangelism, planting seeds for the decentralized revolution. We have 10 million people to orange pill. Bitcoin evangelism by a good friend of mine, Brian DeMint, is an absolute beast of a resource for orange pilling no-coiners and altcoiners alike. This is a book for Bitcoiners who know Bitcoin but have a hard time explaining it to their friends. It's a book for Bitcoiners who are trying to explain Bitcoin only to altcoiners. You can get it right now. It's available on Amazon. You can check the link in the video description or scan the QR code on your screen. If you have an aunt, a brother, a father, a mother, and they just don't understand Bitcoin, get yourself this book. Arm yourself with the tools and the ways to how to orange pill your family, your friends. Also, I want to give a shout out to Kaboom Racks. They are the most trusted place to buy, sell, and host mining equipment. You got to check out their racks. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you directly to their Telegram marketplace. You can connect with a member of their sales team. They make purchasing their products easy and transparent. You could also sell mining equipment with them. They have a vast network of domestic and international customers when you sell your mining equipment with them. Guys, what are you waiting for? This is where I personally buy my Bitcoin miners. You got to check out Kaboom Racks today. All right, everybody, let's get to the culture. We have a lot to talk about. Let's check it out.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today.
All right, guys. So this is the culture. I'm super excited for this. Ron, our audience absolutely loves to hear people's Bitcoin story. And, you know, I say in I don't know, a surreal way, you know, coming from being a director of Rugrats and Wild Thornberries, basically what my childhood was built on, minus the classics that we all love and know. How did you go from there to being a Bitcoiner?
Well, I had a funny story. I've always been really into kind of adopting technology stuff pretty fast. I don't fear these things. I just figure out what it is, and if it's an improvement, I jump right in there. So at some point, Coinbase, like 2014, I guess, around the end of the year, Coinbase was giving away a free dollar for 99 cents of Bitcoin if you just signed up for the app. So I didn't even know what it was, but I'm like, 99 cents of some new money kind of thing. What the heck? Let's just see what it is. So I downloaded it, and then I watched it go from 99 cents to 86 cents to 70 cents, eventually down to like 25 cents. I guess I got in right at the bottom of whatever terrible dip was going on there. I said, well, whatever this is, this isn't working. And I just ignored it. And then 2 years later, a little over 2 years later, 2017, early there, I opened up my phone. I was living in Bali at the time. And I'm like, I got to get rid of some apps and remove these things. And I see Coinbase and I open up like, oh, what was that thing again? I open it up and suddenly it's like $4.80. And my mind just blew up. I was like, oh my God, this thing went up like 400% or what, 500% almost in like 2 years. What is this stuff? And I immediately, we were flying back from Bali like a week later. As soon as we got back to LA, I sat down and just started going through everything I could find about what the heck Bitcoin was. I guess Jeff Berwick, the vigilante, whatever he was the first guy I ran into, and everything clicked. It all made sense. I'm like, this stuff is amazing. I get it. This is the future of money. This is exactly what we need. And I started buying, you know, my first $500 of Bitcoin, like as fast as I could, put everything together and just started buying it all up when Bitcoin was like $1,200. And then from that point on, I went out and started just being a complete evangelist for it.
Love it. It's such a I think it's such a relatable story. And you know, people always talk about like, we're not here just for the price to go up. We're here for the tech. But guys, let's be honest, you know, number go up is usually the best way to get someone hooked in orange pill.
It's the easiest convincing, you know,
exactly
me to get in. But then the technology, you know, it blew me away. It's sort of like, you know, you see some beautiful girl and then you realize, oh, and she's cool and she understands. Oh my God, I can't wait to date this girl. You know, that's what it felt like, you know.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, you were telling us that you do have a project, but before we get to that, Nico and I talk about it like almost every single day. And we even talked about it today about breaking the echo chamber. And it just goes to show that having people like yourself be a part of Bitcoiners, and we always talk about just like having people in corporate press being Bitcoiners, like Bitcoiners are everywhere. And our goal here on Simply Bitcoin is to try to do that, to try to break the echo chamber. So what is your thoughts on the importance of getting the Bitcoin message outside of just Bitcoiners?
I think it's the most important thing we could be doing right now, because the more numbers in our favor, the more people understand how this works and how it's the opposite of the fiat nonsense. I mean, the better it is for everybody. The value goes up, the adoption rate, everyone's going to start to understand it everywhere. And it's like I was saying, it's just, once you see that this is the superior way of doing it, it's like, I'm burning fire over here and this guy doesn't understand what fire is. All of a sudden it's going to make perfect sense. So I don't know, I think getting the word out and getting people educated, even just the smallest understanding of it, is going to make all the difference, and get this thing where it should be. I feel like we should be at 1 billion people should be on, using this thing right now, not a few 100 million. I think it's the number one priority, I think, is to get everybody out who doesn't understand it yet, to get a basic understanding and start realizing that they're being lied to by virtually everybody.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything,
100%. And I think I can't remember now. It's all a blur, but you were saying,
can I
jump in.
So, and specifically with your background, which is absolutely incredible. You have experience directing and making fabulous content. Your new project, right? That we're trying to get you up and running on Geyser. Mick's a great guy, great platform to raise money. If you guys are interested in a Bitcoin project off the top of your head and you need crowdfunding, it's a great resource. Highly recommend Geyser. So why don't you talk a little bit about your project that you have in mind, things that you can reveal about it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the director of the Rugrats and Wild Thornberry. So this isn't just an average everyday person.
It's just not Nico and Opti making content.
Yeah, this isn't just Nico and Opti making content. This is a true professional artist, making an educate. You said it was an educational series. Is that correct?
Basically, yeah, to teach everybody the basics of this. Well, the point of it is, I thought there's a lot of experts in Bitcoin I've seen out there, but they seem to be experts in like one or two particular parts of it. They'll be like all about the tech. They really understand that, and they'll go on and do other podcasts, but they don't get into like the value part of it. And then there'll be people that just completely talk about the money and how great it is, and you're missing this asymmetric, opportunity, but no one's put it all together. So what I wanted to do was make something really, really simple, just kind of a 10 video series that would be 2 to 3 minutes long each, and very easy to digest, make it kind of fun and entertaining, and walk people through what is money. You got to start there, and then move in, how does Bitcoin work and Satoshi and that whole thing, and eventually get to the point at the end where it's like they understand self-custody. They understand how to the way this is going to change everything, whether anyone likes it or not. The cat's out of the bag. So the point of my series is to make it literally like when you want to send grandma somewhere and she doesn't understand anything, she can walk right in there and immediately after the first episode understand that the money in her wallet is not what she thought it was, that the money in her bank account is working completely different than she thinks it does. And then here's the solution to it. This is something simple that's going to be once you get it, like I did, with the Coinbase thing, within minutes, I was like, oh my God, this makes perfect sense. Once it's clear, once you make it clear, I should say, everything starts to fall into place. Hopefully, that's my goal with this thing. So I'm doing a little crowdfunding. I thought that'd be the easiest way to go about getting the word out, as well as getting some little funding for it, to make what I'm hoping to be the easiest way to get everybody, all the noobs and everybody, even the fighters, the people that hate it, to get them in there and show them exactly how it works in a way that's as easy as just sitting down and watching the Wild Thornberries.
No, and that experience, and like I was obsessed with those. I would look forward for I would look forward to the wild thornberries, you know, the adventures. And then of course, somehow the Rugrats would have, you know, these are little children and they would be having these crazy adventures as well. So, you know, if you're able to do that with that, I'm sure you're going to be able to make amazing, you know, Bitcoin content. So, Ron, I kind of want to go back in time and just
wait, quick question before you go, Nico. Are they're going to be animations?
Mostly animated, like explainer videos, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
There'll be a little bit of everything, but I want to focus mostly on, sort of motion graphics and keep it really big. Part of the inspiration for, if you ever saw The Other Guys, at the end of the movie, you know, Will Ferrell movie, at the end they have, it was Adam McKay, the Big Short director, before the Big Short. And he did this whole explanation of how the money works and how corrupt the whole system is, and this whole big mess of you know, which he really covered in the Big Short even more. And it was all done with very simple motion graphics, sort of little icon characters, you know, moving around and getting the rug pulled, getting their heads chopped, all this crazy stuff about the money. And I was like, that's the best way to do this, I think. Make it super, super clear and universally, you know, I don't know how to put it, universally understandable, the same way the symbols are for, like, you know, the bathroom.
100%.
All right, jump in, Nico.
No, yeah, this is crazy. And you know, that the Coinbase story that you were telling in the beginning, where you saw that crazy jump, I have a very similar story where, you know, I dropped out of best decision I ever made, and I went full-time Bitcoin. And the last class that I took was on public speaking, and the last presentation that I had, I made it about Bitcoin. And, you know, there was like 30 people in the class at the time. And at the end, I made the whole speech, like, it separate money from state. Like, everyone was looking at, mind you, like, Bitcoin was like a fraction of what it is now. It didn't have all this legitimacy. And I just remember the class was just looking at me like, this motherfucker's a crazy person. Like, this is crazy. This is, what the fuck is
They weren't wrong. They weren't wrong.
This is crazy. It's like, this guy's like just like screaming about this like magic internet money. And what I did was I said, guys, if you download the Coinbase app, you know, you get $10 of Bitcoin for free. And a class of 30 people, 2 people accepted that offer. Mind you, this was 2016. This was like $500, $600, $700 Bitcoin, right? So like 2 people, and I bet you the 2 people that did get it, I bet you they sold that shit as soon as it hit 20K.
They lost their keys,
right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like, you know, I hear that. Like, when you say that story, I'm like, it resonated with me, man. So, you know, glad that we have, you know, someone with your expertise and background on our side, because, you know, we say it really like almost every show, and that's like kind of our motto, specifically during the meme review. This is narrative trench warfare. You're trying to win over the hearts and minds of people right now, and some of the best way to do that is with culture, with media, with content. You know, this educational series, I'm like, this is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think that's the way you win. That's in the end, you have to just educate people. And once they see the light, that's it. You know, they're not going to, like we were saying before, the Matrix with the red pill, blue pill. Once it's there, it's revealed, you can pretend it's not there anymore. You can say this doesn't matter, but that's it. You're not going to turn around and go, oh yeah, keep taking 2% away from my money every year. Keep, you know, printing up devaluing it like crazy. And that you just start to go, this is absolutely absurd. Why aren't we using this other system that works perfectly with, you know, trustless transactions? The whole thing is just so brilliant. And you know, once you see the fire, why are you going to pretend it isn't there anymore? It just blows my mind.
100%.
Yeah. Wait, Nico, what's the
really
saying? What's the saying you always say?
It's the orange pill or the blue pill. What are you guys going to take? What's the one on the left or the one on the right, ladies and gentlemen? Anyways, Opti, what are you gonna say?
What's the saying you always say? Politics is downstream from culture.
Yeah,
and I think like this is a good example of this.
So you know, if you want to win over the political sphere, you have to take over the cultural sphere, right? Because at the end of the day, what politics represents is like the issues of the people, right? And then there's those competing issues. But I think right now with fiat politics specifically, and I do call it fiat politics for a reason, both parties, they do the same shit, okay? Which is, the liberal part, or the progressives, the left, and then the conservatives, the right. It's basically like when the Democrats are in power, the conservatives are, you see what they're doing? Like, it's fucking terrible, blah, 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 blah. When the Republicans are in power, the Democrats are like, you see what they're doing? It's fucking terrible, blah, 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 blah. And then everyone gets riled up and they're like, yeah, fuck you, whatever. But in reality, both parties print a ridiculous amount of money, right? And like I was saying earlier, if you are in the lower middle classes, you most likely you're living paycheck to paycheck. You don't have the means to save in assets, right? So they're printing money and they're devaluing your savings. They're devaluing what you're earning, right? And then it causes a lot of, people get pissed off, specifically after 2008. And if you're in the younger generations, like I would not, like, holy cow, I don't know what I would do without Bitcoin. But if you're under the age of 35, you're not going to own anything. You're outpriced of housing. You're outpriced of an opportunity. So like, yes, of course you're going to get pissed off. And as Bitcoiners, our responsibility really is to wake people up and say, guys, there is no political solution to this. It's not about electing a Bernie Sanders, a Donald Trump, a Vivek, or whatever. They're not going to do anything. It's really about, and it's 2024, guys. So it's really important that you get out and vote and take self-custody of your Bitcoin, because that is the vote that matters, right? That's the vote that's actually going to change things. And then that's why you see that wording from the European Union saying like, yeah, the self-custody stuff is really bad. That's why Elizabeth Warren is like, yeah, no, we can't have people taking self-custody, because the politicians are starting to realize, holy crap, if people wake up to this, the gig is up. I can no longer be worth hundreds of millions of dollars off a government salary. The racket is over, right? So yeah, it's an honor, Ron, to really have you on the show today. I'm super, super excited about your project. I think it's absolutely necessary, specifically with someone of your background and your experience. I can't wait to see that series. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. And yeah, we just got to keep waking people up. And I really believe Bitcoin's a unifier. I think a lot of people, on the quote unquote left and a lot of people on the right are going to get along just fine if the money's fixed, right? I think a lot of people are just going to be like, we really don't have that many different, okay, there's some differences here and there, but like the hostility, I think that comes from the economic hardships that fiat is causing,
I agree. And I think there is one little saving grace, I think, in the United States that solves so many other problems is the state by state legislation of things. Weed is still federally illegal, right? But then Colorado or Massachusetts, I forget which one was first, just went there and said, you know what, screw this. And now 40 something states, it's legalized. And I think, gay marriage went through the same thing, right? State by state. So I think someplace like Texas that's really benefiting huge from Bitcoin right now, if they go in there and try and, the feds come in and try and mess that whole thing up, I mean, I think Texas and the people that are into it there will really stand up and start just putting their foot down about this. And then once they do that, that's the dominoes, and all the other states will start falling in line if they see it working for that. So to me, that's kind of the hope in the United States that could save everything, is if we can somehow get the states to start standing up, the people inside the states, and then the states standing up, maybe there's a chance we could break the will of the greedy federal tyranny.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with that, and it's all the US, like the founding fathers did such an incredible job, right? Like, specifically someone from, I came from a country that fell to collectivism, used to be one of the wealthiest countries in the world just because of the amount of oil, the natural resources the country had. And then it went down the collectivist path. But the United States is very unique because it has, not only the states have this individual sovereignty over the federal government, right? The example of marijuana is a great example, but also the First and Second Amendment, right? Those pesky amendments, right, are just like, it makes it very difficult for the central government to, impose their will. especially because and they did it in a really smart way. Like they put the First Amendment at the right fucking top, right? Because they're just like, as long as this is this, like they're gonna have a hard time. And then the right to bear arms is number 2. Like that was on purpose, right? So
priorities.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways,
wait, before we go into the memes, Ron, what would be the last message that you would like to leave with our audience?
Self-custody.
Beautiful.
Don't do anything else.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Not your keys, not your cheese. I mean, it's the most important, like you said, it's the vote that outdoes all the other ones. It tops everything. You take it, understand enough to hold it yourself, and you will become one of these, 75% of all the holders haven't touched their Bitcoin in a year or something like that. Or 75% of all the Bitcoin, I forget what exactly how that stat works, but that's what we want everyone to be. They get in, they hold it, and eventually there'll be nothing anyone else can do to them, because it's like, this is the blockchain. It's shared by the world. You can't shut it down. You can't stop us. And if we're holding our own coins, we're just going to win. I mean, that's how you do it.
100%.
Let's go.
We're just going to win. There's absolutely nothing they could do about it. And I think that's where they're freaking out. I think that's where they're trying to attack it the way they are. Anyways, Opti, it's time to review some memes, bro. It has been a minute, so I am looking forward to
It's only
this.
been a week. It's only been a week.
It's only been a week. All right, so let's check out the memes.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your...
Hit the wrong one. Let's do that again.
The Daily Meme Review.
Wow. Right. Wow. Nico's rusty on the meme review.
Second time's a charm.
All right, guys, you know the deal. It is Friday, so the memes are back. Tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. Remember, we are in trench warfare right now, and it's a battle, narrative trench warfare, and it's a battle of ideas. Continue to spread the Bitcoin signal, continue to ridicule the corporate press, continue to make the funny so your friends' heads stay in the game. And this first one, this is a video. So, I try to avoid the video memes as much as possible, but this one hit so strong considering that this is the week of Davos. People were saying it was actually real. We all kind of got caught up in like, wait, did this really happen? Wait, how would it?
How did people think that was real, dude?
I don't know. I think maybe they got caught up in the like Malay speech because that snippet came out and then this came out and they're like, did he really say this? All right. Anyways, for you guys that didn't see this, this is from Damon Amani, and he goes, breaking new WEEF participant does the unthinkable at 2024 Davos meeting, and it's a short clip.
And I appreciate the World Economic Forum providing me the opportunity to be on this stage and say, fuck you, Klaus Schwab, and fuck your New World Order. We, the people, were born free, we will stay free, and you and all of your globalist friends, including everyone in this room, can go fuck yourself. And I appreciate it.
Oh man, that's so good. So good. All right, next one. Next meme is by...
That shit was funny as fuck, dude. Oh man.
Wasn't there a follow-up where he has a black eye and he apologizes?
Yeah, he did. There's definitely a follow-up. Oh man, so good. Okay, next one is by Boomer the 10th Man, aka at the Ruler's Broken on Twitter, and he goes, how it feels when Bitcoin dumps, but your sats are in cold storage, your UTXOs are all consolidated, and you're not selling ever. And I think this is Rogue One. And he said, it's a peaceful life. It's such a peaceful life, guys, when you're just hodling in cold storage and you just watch all the mayhem happen. It's such a peaceful life. Find that Bitcoin Zen. Okay, this next one. What was the girl's name? Like Samantha DeLuke or something like that. It's like Groundhog's Day almost every other couple of months in Bitcoin. And this is a perfect summarization of that. And Hodless B Maximus, aka at Max_Diogenes goes, we need to explain Bitcoin in pizza terms again. And I think this is The Meal. This is a movie that came out. If you guys know this clip here, it's pretty hectic click here, but you can see he's like crying and in pain and just like, oh no, we're back to explaining Bitcoin in pizza terms, because apparently Bitcoin is totally divisible, and it's inflationary because it is extremely divisible. These Keynesians out here, oh man, it's over and over and over again. We're always getting caught up in the same FUD lines about Bitcoin. Anyways, this next one is by Rosthemus. And the Malay speech, I think, went absolutely viral this last week. And
a 250,000 views, dude.
250,000. Wow.
Like
amazing.
every other speech on their YouTube channel, like has like 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 views. The Malay speech, like 250,000, like absolutely blew everything else out of the water. Like that tells you where people's heads at.
Incredible. All right. Well, I don't know what this meme format's from, but you can see
It's
this
from,
girl.
That show, dude, that really popular show on Netflix, Stranger Things.
Oh, it's Stranger Things. Okay, so
Great. By the way, great. I love that. That music choice at the end was just it was incredible.
So Stranger Things template. The girl here, you can see she looks semi-possessed here, and then they put some music on her ears, and she's listening to the Malay speech, and then she comes back to life and becomes a normal human. Opt out or break out of the Matrix. It has a control on you. All right, this next one is by our boy Big Sean Harris, and he goes #Bitcoin, skull emoji, or Bitcoin is dead again. And then the meme here is Bitcoin every other week. And it looks like some dead weeds here. And it goes, I'm not dead. This is just how I look. Go read some Bitcoin obituaries. It might be one of my favorite pastimes. Bitcoin never dies. It's always going to go back above all-time high. And you just love to hear the normies out there and the Bitcoin skeptics lose their mind. And, oh, Bitcoin's dead. And then he comes back out of the depths like the Undertaker meme. Anyways, this next one is by our friend Chairforce_BTC. And it's just a picture of like a little girl with a smirk in her yearbook picture. And it goes, Bitcoiners watching normies figure out that their money isn't real. Oh my goodness. Sometimes it breaks your heart. And sometimes it's just like, it's so rewarding when you know you planted that seed and they start to wake up to the ideas like, wait, our money isn't real? Wait, our money's dead? Wait, why are we using this paper IOU as our money and we're all slaving away for something that they can inflate? And this next one, you know me, I like to kind of troll Beauty on a little bit because he always makes fun of the memes. And then when he does drop a meme on Twitter, I always love to bring it on the show. So here's @Beauty on Twitter. And I know all you guys are blocked on Twitter, so you can finally see his memes. Beauty on is a screenshot of an article here. Let's see. April 18th, 1963, and it's from a newspaper, and it goes, you'll be able to carry phone in pocket in the future. And look at this, like it looks like an old flip phone before the Nokia flip phones. Anyways,
communicator, I think.
There you go. Exactly. Beauty on goes, you'll be able to carry a bank in your pocket in the future. #Bitcoin. This is the way, guys. It is happening in real time, and people are waking up to it.
Can we play that World Economic Forum?
One more time? Okay, one more time. One more time. Let's.
Fuck, dude.
All right, give me a second. Here we go. Pull it up, Nico. Oh.
It was just
so all right. Good. One more time.
In the World Economic Forum, providing me the opportunity to be on this stage and say, fuck you, Klaus Schwab, and fuck your New World Order. We, the people, were born free. We will stay free. And you and all of your globalist friends, including everyone in this room, can go fuck yourself.
Oh man, so good. That one's gonna live on forever. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, drop your meme review score in the chat as we cover ours live, and we will review yours as well.
So
go, Nico.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it. So Tone Vase came out with a tequila. There was 1 in 20.
You got one.
And he gave me number 2 as a wedding gift.
Wow.
After Las Vegas. And I have the tequila back there, but the sticker in front of the tequila is this Tone Vase tequila. So that is my score. And shout out Tone for that amazing wedding gift. Because
have you drank it, or is it still unopened?
No. So the deal is that we're not going to open it until Bitcoin hits 100K, and then we're going to open, because he has number 1, and we're going to open number 1 when Bitcoin hits 1 million. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
So, and I might not even open it ever
next week.
I might not open it ever because, like, it's definitely a huge collector's item.
Is that one of the ones that he was talking about with like the aging thing in it? So it ages it.
You know what? I'm gonna.
Yeah, you go grab it. You go grab it. All right. Mine is not as good. It was kind of a gag gift for Christmas. It's a back scratcher. Extendable back scratcher. Okay, Ron, what is your meme review score?
Here, I've got I'll do an illustrated version of it. There's a little cartoon.
Hey.
How's that? I didn't just draw it.
Awesome. Let's go. That's epic.
Wow. There's the Bitcoin, and he was firing it.
Wow. I see a little bit of the rat style there.
Is that right? Okay.
That is crazy. Very, very cool. Very cool. Okay, so this is what it looks like.
Really nice.
So here, let's try to get the camera to focus. And number 2 out of 21.
And it's got that like wood thing in it, right?
It's got like that, like
it ages it.
Bare wood. So it has like this like piece of wood in the middle. You guys can see it. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm sure it tastes delicious. I don't think I'm ever gonna open it though. So
wow. Going back on your word, I see you, Nico.
Yeah, I mean maybe like $10 million Bitcoin or something.
Ooh,
you know?
Okay. Okay.
At that point, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. Anyways, all right, Opti, cue the epic music while we go. Or did everyone forget?
No, there's some in there. There's some in there already.
Drop your meme scores in the live chat so we can read it live on the show. That's right.
Wait. Hold on.
Twitter
Nico,
and Rumble. Yeah.
Nico, they're all yelling at us about the meme review, and they're not even dropping their meme review scores in the chat. Couldn't make up.
Yeah. But we haven't done this in a while, guys. Welcome
it's
to the
not that
meme review.
hard.
Drop your scores in the live chat. We'll read it. That includes Twitter and Rumble. Okay, so YouTube first. Elaine, Dip Appreciation Week. Never forget Bitcoin is a supernatural sent from heaven, a miracle. El Salvador genius fate. Bitcoin is here in the nick of time.
Oof.
In the nick of time. All right. Jamesito, I give the memes an orange Omega candlestick. All right. Next score by BTC is Truth, a hyper-Bitcoinized world with aligned incentive structures. Oof, that's some bars right there, bro.
Okay.
That's some bars.
They're lagging on YouTube. Let's see. Meme scores on Rumble. We have Vito1327. He goes, meme score, Bitcoin fun for Nico's baby. Okay. Narwhal Tacos, I give those memes another 800 daily spaces of don't stop believing because Bitcoin is dead and the halving is priced in. Okay, let's see. Did we get any more in here?
No, dude, we never run out of meme scores. There's just
it's not. It's not that it
we're out of time.
Wait, one last one. Shout out to the XX score. We forgot how to score. Oh wait, there's another one. Okay, let's do this. Jose Cuervo. Score Bitcoin hitting 100K and I turn into Donnie from Wild Thornberries.
Okay, now we're really out of time. All right, guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the live show. Thank you guys so much for appreciate us and watching us and liking our videos and watching our stuff. It really means the world to us. And shout out to our sponsors that really make this show possible. And of course, our viewers. Thank you guys all so much. It's been a great week of Simply Bitcoin Live. We really appreciate it. And we ended the week strong with a living legend. We have Ron, the director of Wild Thornberries and Rugrats, who's now embarking on another journey to make Bitcoin content, which is extremely, extremely exciting. He's going to get that geyser set up very, very quickly. And, we'll plug it from the Simply Bitcoin handle and we'll give the shout out. Ron, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It truly has been an honor and a privilege.
Awesome. Same for me. This has been great. You guys are amazing.
Thank you, Ron. So just hang out backstage for 1 second. There's about a minute or two of a delay. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into Simply Bitcoin Live. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. And of course, the number one thing to push the peaceful Bitcoin revolution is share Bitcoin content, share Bitcoin culture, share Bitcoin music, share Bitcoin everything. That's how we do. We have to win the hearts and minds of everybody. Everyone have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you Monday for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live.